Hey guys, Jason here, and I wanted to stop in today for a quick another 5-minute lesson. I'm going to call this one equity lock. As a property investor, we've always, especially in our acquisition phase in our portfolio, which means we're building the base, the value, the wealth, the number of properties that we want, acquisitions, we always got to make sure we understand where our equity is, which means access to the equity, deposits, which means access to the equity used for the next purchase. And we've always got to make sure that they're available at the click of a finger, at the touch of a button, because if an opportunity pops up in the marketplace that you want to take advantage of quick, you've got to be able to grab your deposit, grab your equity, know where you're at, and to be able to take action as a property investor, get it done. So I'm going to talk about equity lock today. It's a principle we teach all of our clients in our mentoring program about making sure you have access to your equity all the time, because the thing is, often when we want the equity, it takes time and sometimes we can't get it. So I'm going to teach you how to lock that equity in, have it accessible all the time. So let's go through this, an example here today. Here's a real property example that one of our clients purchased a property up in Brisbane in 2014 for $610,000. Now, we've had some fantastic growth up there on this property, and the new valuation on that property came in just recently at $960,000. Now, everyone's happy, everyone's excited, and so, what do we do now? The idea is that you make sure, even if you're not going to use the equity, even if you're not going to do anything right now, you lock in the equity lock, the available equity to use whenever you choose. It doesn't mean you have to take it out and start paying extra interest, but it's there available when you need it. So whenever your properties rise in value, you need to lock the equity in. The 80% loan when it was purchased in 2014 was $488,000. And now the availability of an 80% loan enables us to now increase the loan to include an extra $280K of equity to lock in that's available right now as a property investor. Now, what happens in between there and there? Usually what happens, I've seen a lot of time when we have property investors, they might purchase a property, let's say it was 2014 here, and now it's 2018 here. Now, I'm not saying that Brisbane's going to go down, but this is just an example of property cycles. What happens is they always go up, and at some point, sometimes they overshoot, or they correct a little. And so right now in the marketplace, Sydney is one of those places where it's correcting a little. So what you want to do is you want to lock your equity in at the right time. And so when that marketplace corrects a little, and often it's not unusual to have a 10% correction, when a market's had a good run, to find its new baseline. So if there was a 10% correction on that property, that would be $96,000. Now, it's a lot of equity out of our 280, $96,000 reduced having access to our equity. When we lock our loan in here, instead of asking to get access to our equity here, what's the benefit? What's the upside? Well, valuations at this level, when the market is high and everyone's excited, are easy and they stack up. The lenders are happy, right? They're happy people. They'll give you good terms on your loans and conditions. When there's an adjustment in a marketplace, well, the valuations often aren't very supportive. When there's an adjustment in a marketplace, the lenders aren't very supportive. So really what we need to do is lock our equity in when everyone's happy and hopeful and whatever, and avoid asking for our equity here if we have had already a gain in our property price. So locking that equity in, tick, you lock it in at the top of the market cycle. Often you lock it in when you don't really need it, but you lock it in for the future. It takes a little bit of effort, takes some discipline. You've got to check in on your valuations. You've got to check in on your equity continuously to make sure that that works. So guys, hopefully it gives you an idea as a property investor. You follow your cycle up, you follow your loans up as well. Lock that equity in, because if it was down here when there was an adjustment or a bit of a quiet period, you won't get access to as much equity. And for us as investors, our equity as our deposits keeps us moving faster. So hopefully, guys, that was a good example of what to do when you've had a gain. Lock your equity in, reach out to your finance expert that you have, and get that sorted. So if you need some help, as always, reach out to us, reach out to your coach, come along to one of our nights. And until then, take care. Bye for now.